Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr., we have a rivalry on our hands. The two best super late model drivers in the country. One races with the World of Outlaws, one races with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and they came together for the Castrol FloRacing Night in America at Macon Speedway, and we got some fireworks. Bobby Pierce led almost the entire race, which was full of cautions. Absolutely crazy wrecks. Brandon Shepard flipped. Brian Shirley sat on his side. We had people getting flat tires. We had people going to the rear. We had people involved in big wrecks like Garrett Albertson going to the rear, getting back up into the top 5, being involved in another wreck. It was a wild, wild, crazy night. But this probably is the biggest storyline of the night. Is the slide job that Ricky Thornton Jr. pulled on Bobby Pierce with 13 laps to go. Let's take a look at this here. Pierce goes into turns 3 and 4, trying to work around Tyler Erb. He's been racing on the top of the track most of the night. Hasn't really been down at the bottom. It's become really rough down there. And he pays the price. He loses a ton of momentum. Ricky Thornton Jr. pounces, pulls the slide job, and it ends up with Bobby Pierce spinning out. Let's take a look at this right here. So you can see there, he goes to the bottom, he bikes up, really loses all of his momentum. Ricky Thornton Jr. pounces, gets underneath of him, does the slide job right across his nose. Pierce has nowhere to go, ends up spinning. Caution is out. He's clearly not happy with the way that Ricky Thornton Jr. did that. Kind of comes down right there in front of him, gives him some hand gestures, speeds up here, makes sure that Ricky knows that he is not pleased with him right there. Obviously, the fans are loving it. A lot of Ricky Thornton Jr. fans, it looks like. There's some Bobby Pierce fans there not happy with Ricky Thornton Jr., it looks like. Lots of hand gestures, whether it's clapping, whether it's giving him the number 1 sign. Fans were obviously loving it there at Macon. I think people watching on Flow Racing were enjoying this as well. What ended up happening, Ricky Thornton Jr. would hold off Jason Fager, a hard-charging Jason Fager on the last lap to win the race. Bobby Pierce would end up coming home in 6th, would be able to recover for 6th, but he was very, very conservative towards the end of the race. Didn't even really try to push the button there, trying to get around Tyler Erb for 5th. Did not want to venture down onto the bottom of the track, so I don't know if there was something wrong with his car after the wreck, or if he just didn't want to get down there and potentially do more damage to the car, because you can see he did kind of bike up there, really lost a ton of momentum, trying to dive down on to the bottom of the track to get around Tyler Erb. We did have some comments made by the drivers here. This is Ricky Thornton Jr. After winning the race, this is what he had to say about his slide job on Bobby Pierce.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a race or demolition derby, to be honest. It was pretty bad there, but I don't know. The track was pretty good. The bottom was pretty good, and then you can run around the top too. Obviously, I didn't mean to get in Bobby there and turn him around. I got a good run down the front straightaway, and I thought for sure he'd see me under him and just lift and cross me over, but I think he was already too committed at that point. So obviously it sucks for him. You never want to take a guy out of the win, especially Bobby. So it really good car. We about got it destroyed when the 10 car ran out of talent again. So I feel like that happens every week, but I don't know. I got to thank Longhorn Chassis, Bill Stein Shocks.
So he's obviously referring to Garrett Smith there. That happened at the very beginning of the race. Garrett Smith was unable to keep the car turning. He went sideways, but a lot of people were doing that tonight. So a little bit of a low blow there for Ricky Thornton Jr. on Garrett Smith. But these guys play a different game in their interviews. I'm telling you, these dirt guys, these dirt super late model guys, they play a different game. They kill you with the sweetness there. It's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, Ricky, you didn't mean to do that. Bobby Pierce was a little bit more direct. Spoke with them here after the race as well. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Oh, it was hard racing. I think definitely, we could have raced a little bit more, and that was the first time we were ever side by side, and he took advantage of it, and he took advantage of it his way. It was just a hard racing deal. I'm sure we'll have some hard racing deals here in the near future.
Well, I tell you what, it looked like maybe you stalled out a little bit.
You gotta love the way that he says, I'm sure there'll be some hard racing deals here in the near future, as he kind of like gives the guy a wink almost. Like, you gotta love it there. Love the rivalry forming here. He does provide some more details here, so let's continue listening.
And then he was committed in there and come together there. It's just, tough.
Yeah, it's a tough deal. This track's so small, and you got to take what it gives you and be a little more patient than that, but it's tough. And it was, is Mike not working? There it goes. It was a little tough, to even pass on the bottom with them holes down there. It felt a lot like Gateway, and, it was rough and tumble, and we just had a very bad, unfortunate deal there. Before that, I guess it messed me up when I was trying to lap turbo. I got under that turn 3 hole, and I didn't really know it was that rough down there, and I biked it up on 2 wheels, and that really lost all my momentum after that. And next thing I know, I went down the front stretch, and I saw the blue nose there, and he's not one of the most fun drivers to race against right now. Just would have liked a little more respect, but hey, it's Macon and it happens. And like I said, just a racing deal. We'll have some more racing deals like that in the near future.
There you go.
We'll have some more racing deals like that in the near future, says Bobby Pierce. My opinion is it was indeed a hard racing deal. I think Pierce obviously hit that hole. That obviously killed his momentum. That was a mistake. Maybe not driving, but a mistake in judgment to go down there. But that's clearly because he didn't maybe know that it was that bad. He paid for that, lost all the momentum. It allowed Ricky Thornton Jr. to close on him, get side by side with him on the straightaway before even going into the turn, and then he pulls the slider. It was a really tight slider, but it was a slider. And he took his shot. He knew that was probably going to be one of the few opportunities he had to get around Bobby Pierce, and he pounced. And I think that's why we really like Super Dirt Late Model Racing. These guys don't give an inch, and Ricky Thornton Jr. did not give an inch to Bobby Pierce in this case, and he ended up with the win. Pierce ended up 6th, but I think Pierce is going to learn from this. He obviously already has. I wonder who he's like staring daggers at right here now, right? He says there's going to be a lot of hard racing in the future. I expect that from him. And I think Pierce, if he's in the situation that Ricky Thornton Jr. is, he makes the same move. But great racing here for the first night in the Castrol FloRacing Night in America. I absolutely loved it. I know there was a bunch of wrecks and it slowed the race down and everything, but I mean, this race had everything. You had 2 of the best drivers in the country going at each other. You've got a big rivalry actually forming. I think this might be the biggest rivalry in motorsports right now. This rivalry here between Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. It's organic. You got them running in different divisions, Bobby Pierce, or different series. Bobby Pierce, obviously, with the World of Outlaws, Ricky Thornton Jr. with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. But you have these events like the Castrol FloRacing Night in America, where they come together, and it's always a great show. It's always a great race because these 2 guys are going to bring it every single night. They are the ones to watch. They're always going to be at the front, and they're going to be racing for the win, and they're going to be racing against each other. And who doesn't like that? That's why we watch racing, to watch drivers like Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. not give an inch to each other and put it all on the line. I'm loving it. I don't know how you can't love it, but let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.